information if you needed it. What I was speaking of, it was a room, and there were probably 50 or more screens that had it always showing those areas. Someone worked in that office, and they could see their malls, their apartments, their transportation areas on the roads, all the city facilities. So they were just running all the time, not just when something happened, but there were eyes on those facilities and the parks at all times.
Yes, ma'am. So we actually working on it as well. Chief identified a location there at the PD. So we actually getting quotes now to like actually build that video wall there with real time what's going on around the city with someone there monitoring it.
Okay.
And Chief maybe can like speak of that because this is his vision of like how you want that monitoring station to pretty much go.
Yes, sir. Yes, warm up your hair. So pretty. Yes. we getting there something? I have to remember, maybe I'll try to think of something for her. I know, that's right. That's really what it is.
The staff is the same. Yeah, I met with them today at 4. Yeah, I met with Shayla and her staff at 4. They didn't say there was an issue, so it'll fly through class. Thank you. Okay.
Well, yeah, we got to be there Saturday. I see she sent me a post boots on Saturday. It's to 6 o'clock.
Are you going Friday night? I haven't had PE practices.
Oh, no, me either. Maybe later days, or, you know how Mr. Watkins has it, like a concert.
In September.
He does every year. He has all day concert. And it's right at Lincoln Park.
Yesterday was my last day.
Their classes have a lot of
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Where's Cameron? Oh, that's his friend. Oh. Yes. I know. The lights are blinking like we're at the opera. Bling, bling, bling. The lights are coming on like at the opera. You got to come back and sit down. The curtains are closing. The next act is coming on. We can say, get the lights together. We'll call to order the Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is Thursday, June the 15th, 2023. Our invocation will be done by the Reverend Dr. Francisco Artley, the pastor of Posey United Methodist Church, and then we'll have our invocation, after the invocation, our Pledge of Allegiance, led by the Mayor Pro Tem City Council Member Terry Miller. Please stand for the invocation.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. It's good to be here with you guys again. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, I just thank you for this beautiful day that you have given us. And Lord, I just ask blessings upon our city council and our mayor and all of those that are present. Lord, I ask that you give them the wisdom and guidance to perform their duties. And also, Lord, I ask that you help them in making decisions that is best for our city. I just thank you for their commitment to our city and ask that you continue to work with them and bless them. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Pastor Artley. We appreciate you coming again to do our invocation for our legislative work session. And it was a blessing even to look at the flag today. Yesterday was Flag Day, and so that was something that we celebrated in the city of Douglasville and that was celebrated all over the country yesterday at 6:30. And so sometimes just you take for granted the flag and what it means, and so that was a great time that we had in the community before Wednesday wind down. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm mayor of the city of Douglasville. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion only, and no official action will be taken this evening. Official action on these items discussed tonight will take place next Monday at 6 p.m. Well, actually Tuesday, because Monday is Juneteenth. So we'll have Monday off, and we'll have our city council meeting on Tuesday. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the item comments from citizens and delegates, and you can come to the microphone and speak to us at that time. There are just a few protocol issues that I'd like to go over with you, and then we will begin our meeting with the agenda that is printed outside if you like a paper agenda, and or you can follow us with the electronic one that's on the screen. I would ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments or things that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack or on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair. If you deviate from that requirement, a second deviation will result in us turning your microphone off for the evening. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud or react to speakers or speak from the audience, cheer, or carry on a conversation when you're at the podium. We ask that you would just direct your information to the chair, and we'll move on from there. I'll remind you that we're only required to accept public comments during the required public hearings. And if you have any materials that need to be distributed to myself and council members, we ask if you have printed material that you would give that to our Assistant City Clerk, and she will make copies for us, and Ms. James, and she'll pass them out to us at another time. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, we ask that you will please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting. And this is how the agenda items will be handled this evening. The committee chairperson will read his or her agenda item. Then that person representing that agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation. We'll ask questions. Myself and council members will possibly ask clarifying questions to help us be able to make our decisions next Tuesday. After that, the committee chairperson will ask for comments or statements from the audience. There is a maximum of 20 minutes for those in favor of the item and 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. Prior to approaching the podium, please give your card to our Assistant City Clerk, Ms. James, Ms. Candace James, and you should have your name and address on those cards. And when you come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Each person has one opportunity to speak. This is not a question and answer or debate format. We're just here to hear the information, deliberate, to help us make our decision next week. Again, if you have any printed material, please give that to the Assistant City Clerk. She'll print it out and give it to myself and council members. And I believe that's it. So again, if you'd like to follow the agenda on the screen, and or if you want a paper one, there are some outside. And those blue cards are the citizens' cards that you need to fill out when you come to the podium to speak. Now, we will move on with the agenda as it is presented. And our first committee is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Our Assistant Finance Chair is Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in finance.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair of Finance. Housing and Community Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Berdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. We are on item number 8, Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel
At
Davis.
this time, Madam Mayor, we have no business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Davis. We will move item number 9 to the end of the agenda, and we'll go ahead with item number 10, Planning and Development Committee. And the Vice Chair for Planning and Development is Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Berdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We have several items tonight. The first item is to adopt a resolution to adopt the Town Center Implementation Strategy Living Centers Initiative, which is also known as the LCI.
Yes.
By Ms. Reed.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Greetings, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Shayla Reed, Community Development Director. On our meeting on June 1st, we introduced the LCI project to you during a committee meeting, and we're now asking for your adoption of this file. And if you have any additional questions, I would love to answer.
Are there any questions? No?
There's a lot with the LCI.
All right. Madam Mayor, I'd like to place this on the consent agenda.
I don't see any opposition. I see some thumbs up, so I think that'll be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Our second item is hold a public hearing and adopt a proposed ordinance to amend Article 4 of the Unified Development Ordinance to add 4.10 and amend Section 2.02 for a town center mixed-use zoning classification. Ms. Jackson?
Hello, Marissa Jackson, Planning and Zoning Administrator, 6701 Church Street. You recall that this item was referred to Planning Commission. Planning Commission recommended approval, and there are no further updates.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions in regards to this on this item? Okay,
One quick,
sure. Mayor Pro Tem?
I did want a clarification. I know that we have a 1 acre minimum now for the presentation of a mixed use. So if there's if somebody's, I think it might be helpful to explain to people the process if you have a property that's less than 1 acre and you still want to do it, you're still doing a mixed use project, how are you interacting with the planning department then?
So a property that is less than 1 acre is not eligible for this particular zoning district. You would have to acquire additional parcels that are adjacent and combine them to do this.
Well, let's say if you have, if you own literally a parcel in downtown that is one, a quarter acre or less, let's say, with like typical of most of the downtown lots, and you want to build a
Going up.
townhouse with a restaurant below and an apartment above, that's a mixed-use development. What's the ramification then?
So the idea for this particular zoning district is that you want to do some placemaking, and in order to do that, you would need to have maybe 1 acre. We do have it, I believe, in the central business district, where you could have an apartment on top and a restaurant on the bottom on 1 acre, but it wouldn't necessarily be not 1 acre, on less than an acre, but that wouldn't be this particular zoning district.
You would just-
I'm able to confirm that for you, and bring back additional information at the next meeting if you'd like.
But it would just be treated as a normal application process then, okay? I just
Yes,
want to make
sir.
sure that, I want people to be clear that doesn't mean you can't do that in downtown, because that could be, I think that could be a little confusing to people, is that when you see things like 1 acre minimums and stuff like that, it just means it's under which the regulations of this particular process fall. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Are there any other questions, comments? Okay, if not, I open the floor for a public hearing. If there's anyone in our audience that is against this item, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay, I don't see anyone running up. So is there anyone in our audience that is for and would like to speak for this item? If so, come up and state your name and address for the record. I do not see any, so I would like to close the public hearing at this time and go to the next item.
Okay.
The next item is consider a request for plat approval for the purpose of adopting tributary Phase C2A for plus 27.38 acres at Ancoat Street in land lots 154, 155, and 162 and 163. District 1, Section 5, parcels 016301500025 and 015501505560. Application by Gaston and Lee Craw, care of Michael Charlson. Ms. Jackson?
Yes, ma'am. This is a final plat for single-family homes. It's a continuation of an existing subdivision and tributary. Staff has reviewed the plat, and we found that it meets the city standards.
Thank you. This is an item that we've already discussed in the past. They're just adding the final plot. Is this, do we have any questions or comments by anyone? Our mayor and council?
It's just
The final plat?
it's the final phase.
Yes. Okay. Single-family homes, that correct? Single-family?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. If there are any questions or comments, I'll go to our last item. Consider request for plat approval for the purpose of lot line adjustment for 2.489 acres at 8928 and 8958 Orchard Drive in land lot 22, District 1, Section 5, parcels 00220150A008 and 00220150C028. Application by William C. Detmering III. Ms. Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. This is for a lot line adjustment. The two parcels in questions both have single-family homes on them, and this is just a lot line adjustment that will change the property line.
Sure. It's better for the owner, correct? Right, are there any comments or questions in regards to this item?
Just a comment, maybe it's just me, but the plat map is funky on my iPad, so I can't see it.
More than just yours.
So let me explain, if I may. Okay,
Yeah, I
I've
can't
spoken
see
with
it either.
Councilman Adams, so I understand that this property owner had owned two properties and sold one. So part of the property is going back to the owner, so he's deeding the other property off. Is that correct?
I don't have the background to confirm that.
Okay.
Mr. Detmering.
based on what I have, there are 2 single-family homes, one on each parcel, and they're separate parcels. The plat was looked at by staff, and there's a lot line adjustment. I believe the applicant is here that can
Sure,
provide
if I would
additional
please
information.
ask the applicant to come up, state your name and address for our record.
William Detmarine, 7975 Jones Ferry, Palmetto, Georgia.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we own the house and a lot next door. It's not really conducive to building on that lot, and the lot lines for my neighbor and where my house have been added onto are right on the edge. So we had sold my neighbor half of that lot, so we're just moving it to the center of the vacant lot and making the 2 lots larger.
Right,
Either
so,
side of it.
and that partial that is, that you're keeping, there will not be anything built on that
No,
lot, right?
No.
Okay.
It would really keep it from ever being built on. 'cause it's
Correct.
Now it just becomes part of the house next to it.
Right, okay. Does that make sense? Do you understand? Yes, yes, ma'am, Mayor?
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair. Mr. Detmarine, I apologize. Are you related to Judge Detmarine?
I am,
Please tell him I said hello. That's my former Rotary pal.
yes.
Hope
You
he's
look
doing
like
well.
Appreciate that.
Your
We Look a
family.
little alike. so
You
hard to
do.
Deny.
I know, I know. Do you have an Auburn? No, there wasn't, yeah.
I went, yes, I went and my daughters went. So
Oh, my gosh, you
Okay.
have 3
3
generations.
generations, yeah.
Well, my
Wow.
brother-in-law went and played football there,
Yes,
Danny
I know that.
Robinson. So, yes, sir. So tell your family that we said
I will.
hello.
Thank you very
And wish
much.
them the best. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Detmarine. If not, this ends the items in our planning department. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair. We'll move
Yes,
on then
ma'am.
to the next committee, which is Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening for Public Improvement and Beautification.
Thank you, ma'am. Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The PR committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I have one item tonight, and I would read the item. Is hold a hearing and consider requests to convert the probationary license to an annual license for the alcoholic beverage license on the on-premise sale and consumption of wine and malt beverage, spiritual liquor at the following establishment. Proposed license, Silverlink Enterprise LLC, DBA Crew, location 8440 Courthouse Square East. Proposed agent outlet manager Portia Pearman. The required fees have been paid into the finance department.
Okay.
Good evening, Ms. Pearman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. State your name and address for our record, please.
Portia Perryman, 8440 Courthouse Square East.
Marcus Perriman, 8440 Courthouse Square East.
Would you mind if I start off?
Yes, you can speak, yeah.
Okay. So originally, we were wanting.
Can you raise the mic, speak
I'm-
into
oh,
the
I'm
mic so
sorry.
I
They're
can
not-
hear?
The microphone needs just need a little more volume, probably.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So we were actually wanting to we pretty much didn't want to vote on this because we don't want an annual license for this business. We just wanted to let it finish out because we are actually working on a new concept for the area that's more family-friendly, it's themed, and something that would be a great contribution and better, in our opinion, for the downtown area. So we tried to get in touch with you all sooner to do that rather than having this moment, but we were told to come and just tell you in person that we didn't want to have an annual license for this and just let our temporary run out as we are working on something new.
Is that it? Mayor and council? I'm gonna call on my chief. Do you have any report, chief?
Yes, we do have some reports, some activity that our undercover operations went in, and as far as it relates to smoking hookah, I think the city council had advised them not to be involved in that activity. I think we have about 5 different occasions where we were involved in that undercover operation, or the fire inspector Corkill, he went in at one point and they was in there actively smoking hookah after they were directed not to. So, you know, those are the incidents as it relates to the selling and smoking of hookah on premises that we do, and we have video of some of these incidents.
Okay, Councilman Watts.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. So if I understand what you just said, you're asking to let the license that you have now, the temporary license on the sale of alcohol, to expire in July, and that y'all are going to revamp the business?
Yes, so it's going to be a completely different concept, menu and everything. So we don't want to maintain this. We just want it to expire out so that we can, once it expires out, we can start the process of a new business license and things.
So are they asking for us to take no action, or? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir, I did have a point of clarification. I am, in lieu of what the chief has said, even if we let the license expire at the end of July, correct?
No.
The middle of July. The hookah doesn't have anything to do with the alcohol license. So I know there've been some other issues as well. So I was just, I guess the clarity for me is, even if we don't take action and you revamp, are you coming back? What's the process? City manager, what's the process?
Really, Mayor, I think you might want to ask your legal counsel. I think because they're asking, one, not to renew their license, and I think the question you're asking is if they continue to sell hookah. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, or what the business,
Without the alcohol?
No, Joel. Thank you, Mr. Dodson.
The matter before you is a request to convert the temporary license to a full license. The applicant, I assume, made that request, and you now wish to abandon that. Is that correct?
Can you, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Apparently, you filed a request to convert the temporary license to a full license at its expiration.
You saying
That's what the agenda
originally?
says. And you've now decided that you don't want to do that. You're just going to let the temporary license, the probationary license, expire.
Yes.
Okay. And your question is, what's the process thereafter? If they want to sell alcohol, they'll have to come in and make another application for a license to either sell hard liquor or beer and wine only. And they'll have to meet all the requirements of the ordinance to get that license.
okay. So would we at that time take into consideration some of the violations that have been done, or do we just, we're not dealing with that at all?
You're not dealing with it tonight.
Okay,
You can look at the history of the location at the time a new application was made.
okay.
Since I don't know what revamping they're going to make, it's difficult to predict in advance.
Okay, so a more family-friendly atmosphere. We'll just see what that entails. And what's your time frame to come back to us? Are you going to close in the interim, or let July 15th, mid-July come, then come back to us at another time? Are you closing your facility, or?
We will be. It'll actually be a little bit before that date of the July 15th, but we will be closing and redecorating and things, and then coming back towards the beginning of when school is going to be starting.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Dotson and Chief Sparks. I appreciate the information.
Anyone else before we hold?
Yeah, I think,
Councilman Miller.
just, can you define that a little further, what you mean by revamping and family-friendly and?
Pretty much, it's just another restaurant concept that we're working on. That's more daytime, and I can't say a lot because we're trademarking currently, so I don't really want to put it out and someone take our idea. But that's pretty much the gist behind it. It's more so a themed daytime establishment that will be open to be able to cater to kind of a breakfast, brunch menu and things.
But you'll be applying for an alcohol license at that time, though?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So, will the name change, or will you still try to have hookah, or what will happen?
It's a completely different concept. This was a franchise, so it wouldn't be associated with this at all. So it would be a completely different name. And exactly, more so, as I was saying, the breakfast restaurant, so that wouldn't have any association with hookah.
Councilman West?
Yeah, just one last question on the hookah, since we've talked about it. So going forward to that mid-July expiration date, there, between now and then, there's still not supposed to be any hookah at the lounge.
Right.
Is that correct? Okay. All right, thank you.
Is that what you understand?
Well, that's the part we've been in conversations more so with our council to get some clarity, because some things weren't being worded correctly, so it led to a variety of confusion, but we'll be clear on that with her.
I'm confused now. Who are you talking with about the hookah?
Oh, I'm
The
sorry, I was
city
saying we've been talking with our lawyer, is what I meant by council, I didn't mean a council member.
Oh, okay. So if the police department in the city of Douglasville says that it was prohibited, you're saying your attorneys read the contract differently from our ordinance, or?
In a sense, it was a different interpretation of things, so it just kind of led to some confusion with it for us, and not really sure, and then when talking with a few individuals, saying something different.
Madam Mayor, when they came before us months and months ago, it was
Uh-huh.
specified real clear, written out, that no hookah was allowed in the establishment.
Correct. So do we have, is there a penalty phase, or do you have any violations, or do we, just the?
The chief got violations.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Miranda Jordan, 6695 Church Street. This matter is actually pending before municipal court at this
Oh.
time. There are
All right, so
open
we'll just leave
citations.
that alone and let the judges, so we have legislative, executive, and judicial, we'll let all those branches do what they're supposed to do. All right, thank you. I was just trying to get clarity, because if you start with a new business, if it's not a clean slate, then we still need to address the issues that were
Yes,
concerned before that, because we can't we have to look a little bit in the rearview mirror before we look straight ahead at the windshield. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Miranda, to hold a hearing, do we have to swear anyone in? You have anyone that's going to come down and talk for you?
If there's no other information that needs to be provided, then we can close the hearing.
Okay.
Did we open it up for the public hearing for those in?
No, it's just a
Oh,
hearing.
so it's
not
no
public.
action, so we don't have to have the
Not
public
public.
hearing. Okay, I apologize.
Anyone else from the mayor and council? If not, we'll vote on this on Monday. Y'all come back on Monday, and we'll take a vote on it on Monday.
About taking no action?
No action at this time, be Monday. Or Tuesday, in
Okay,
our voting meeting.
thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Mayor, thank you.
So we're not taking any action. They don't need to come back if we're not taking action, do they?
Tuesday,
On Tuesday, it's my assumption that the chairman will make a motion that no action be taken on this matter on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
I don't think they need to come back unless the council is going to seek additional information.
Right. I don't think so. So you would not need to come back on Tuesday if the chairman, if it's his pleasure to grant your request.
yeah, we'll take a
To
vote on it
take
on,
no action.
on Tuesday, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
You don't have to come back, we'll take a vote on it on Tuesday.
So how will we know then? How will we know?
Oh,
He's
you'll be
saying, he's telling you
contacted.
now, you don't have to come back.
Oh, okay.
But then you'll just, or you can come back to listen to us, take no action, or read it the minutes later.
Understood. Okay, thank you. Have
You're
a good
welcome.
evening.
You too.
All I have, thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. We'll move on then to Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you, sir. The next committee is Technology Committee, chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Technology Committee at this time.
Thank you. Transportation Committee, chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this time.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
We'll go back to item number 9, not certain. Oh, I see our judge back there, our associate judge. So this committee is a Personnel and Organization Committee chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're
We have
welcome.
one item tonight in personnel organization. Item A, to reappoint Melanice Bradley Davis as Assistant Municipal Court Judge for a term of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and authorize the mayor to sign a service agreement with her for that purpose. And I believe Judge Davis is going to speak to us. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, you all. Thank you so much. I do apologize for my tardiness. Now that we are having to appear physically in court, moving attorneys around has become a little bit of a challenge, but I do appreciate the reappointment. I believe the members that are here will attest that we are moving the cases sufficiently. I think we've made significant progress in the environmental court with the citations and getting things cleaned up. So I'm happy with the progress we've made. So I gladly accept their reappointment.
Before council asks any questions, I just would like to ask you, how's it going?
It is going great. Actually, everyone has been so amazing, from the court staff, the deputies, everyone has done an amazing job in terms of, we've done a few things differently to make it more efficient, with some pleas and absentia, trying to negotiate negotiate the cases, but we're actually moving the cases much quicker than they were previously. So everyone is helping diligently, and it's going well.
All right. Madam Mayor, did you have any comments before I open it up to council? Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I didn't have any questions, just a comment. I want to thank you, Judge Bartley Davis. We're getting great reports. I know with some growing pains, but as far as staff is concerned, we've been, of course, people don't want to come to court if they have some issues, but we appreciate how you're handling things in a professional way and how your staff is always so friendly and amenable and always transparent to bring forth information. We appreciate the reports that we receive. That is, before we can ask the question, you are already providing us a report. So we appreciate that. And we hope that, as you said, the transition is helping and people are supporting you as you're sitting in that position. We are excited to grow our city in that respect. And as our city manager reported to us earlier in committee meetings, just trying to make the city, we're growing as a city and to make us more efficient to serve the community and the citizens that we serve. And help their tax dollars to be, work for them. So I think environmental court helps to do that. So thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Roberts.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor, if I may, and council.
Yes.
She has been amazing. We have, it was just wonderful from the very first day she came on the bench. For someone who'd never sat in and been a judge, she's done a great job. She stepped in, and we're thrilled to have her and looking forward to another year.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. How was your training, your judge's training? Did you?
It was great.
It was great.
The training's been great. I've gotten more training for them.
I know.
But I think that you guys would be very, very proud of where we were and where we are now.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Berdanley, did I see your hand up a minute ago?
You didn't see my hand, but I do want to say, I believe that Councilman Davis and I may have the ward that have lots and lots of issues, but I wanted to say you are definitely doing a great job. It is moving on very fast, and I do appreciate your diligence. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Councilman Davis?
Well, I can't say too much because she's better than Judge Judy. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it, and thanks again. And I never get that 3:28 fourth quarter at the Super Bowl. Thanks.
Well, any other questions or comments from council? Well, Judge Davis, thank you for everything you've done so far and continued success, and I'd like to place this on the consent agenda if that's all right with everybody. Thank
Looks
you.
like
Thank
a
you,
thumbs
Judge.
up.
Appreciate it. Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Chairman. Thank you, Judge Davis. We appreciate it, and staff, our municipal court staff.
And
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor, that's all I had tonight in personnel and organization.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. So those are all the committees. We do have other business, and under other business, I wanted to make an announcement about our Grand Marshal for our Independence Day, 4th of July parade. I've chosen Superintendent North, Trent North from the Douglas County School System. Of course, he is the Superintendent of the Year for the state of Georgia. And so coupled with that, he just received an award from the Chamber of Commerce for leadership and how he gives back to the community. And so we're just excited that Superintendent North, and of course, he was a finalist as well for the National Superintendent, School Superintendents for the United States. So we're just proud that he is from Douglasville, Douglas County, and how he does a wonderful job with the educational system. So he is the Grand Marshal for this year's Independence Day. And we're looking to have someone else that was just recently here, if they have time in their schedule, to come back and be our special guest. So I don't want to name the person, but we hope that she will be able to come. We're crossing fingers and toes that she might be able to come back for that time if her contract and her schedule allows. So that's the only announcement I had. I know we do this weekend, the county is doing a reception tonight to kick off Juneteenth celebration for the weekend, and so that's at the county courthouse from 6:30 to 8:30. And tomorrow there is an event that he is giving for a prom here at the conference center, and then Saturday and Sunday are festivals on O'Neill Plaza to celebrate Juneteenth, and that Monday is the actual holiday, and we have that day off. City Hall is closed. So those are the only other business that I had. And yesterday was Flag Day, and it was great. Wednesday wind down was a great turnout. The rain held off, and so it was very good. And we'll ask that we'll pray for our adjoining communities that suffered from lightning strikes and hail and some. I think it was in LaGrange, 29 trees were down. So just keeping those folks in our prayers, thoughts and prayers as they're rebuilding in their communities. And we were blessed not to have some of those things, unless Mr. Gregg didn't tell me. He usually does. So that we were blessed in Douglasville just to have a lot of rain and not any damage. So that's all I have. Any other business from elected officials? Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
One quick thing. Last week I had the good fortune of attending the annual American Institute of Architects Convention in San Francisco. My wonderful city, by the way. You should get out there if you haven't been there. But mostly the agenda was obviously architectural issues, but there was one interesting session I attended that was sort of a crossover to something that we're working on now, which is updating our American with Disabilities Act infrastructure, facilities and so forth. And there was a session on neuropathologies and how that's now intersecting with Americans with Disabilities Act. That most people think of ADA as affecting physical disabilities, but there are a lot of mental and neurological disabilities that intersect with that as well. It has to do with, sensitivity to light, crowds, lack of crowds, things like that. So there's a lot of interesting things that I think we can take a look at as part of our study that intersects with it, and it was pretty interesting. It was a very interesting session. And also, I advocate that we should add some cable cars to downtown Douglasville. It shouldn't cost too much.
It shouldn't cost very much. San Francisco. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. That's interesting. It really is something to look at because it does make a difference in how your city is lit. We have gotten something. I have a recent letter that someone was talking about lights in the downtown area, and that does affect, like you're saying, neurological functions as well, for migraines and all kinds of things, but for safety especially, lighting and all of that in our community. So thank you so much. Any other comments or concerns from council members? No. All righty then, we'll move on to updates from our city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Our chief of police, Chief Sparks.
We have the cops and cars at the police department this Saturday.
Ooh.
So come out and bring your antique vehicles and clean them up, come out and just enjoy the day at the police department. We will have food out there and just enjoy the day. Hopefully it will be a beautiful day, and just come out and look at some cars and some motors, and just be your car enthusiast.
Now, what time is it, Chief?
From 10 to 3.
10 to 3. You know, the Juneteenth is 10 to 6. So I'm going to try to clone myself. Maybe I can sneak over there and come back.
Come on through there for a minute.
And the Chief, I have to give you a compliment. Someone in my family is doing an internship, and they interviewed you today. I don't know if you knew who that person was.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
But she said it was wonderful. She went for it. Now, Coach, she was going to be there for 15 minutes. Other department head, she interviewed for 10 or 15 minutes. She said she was there with the chief a couple hours. It was very interesting. So she really enjoyed the police department. Thank you so much, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll move on then to our city manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Yes, ma'am, I don't have a report, but Ms. Chelsea Jackson does.
Okay, thank you so much. Our assistant city manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Jackson, 6695 Church Street. I wanted to make a brief report regarding the proposed change of a location of Food Truck Monday. Currently, if you all know, Food Truck Monday is in the old downtown police department precinct. We've basically outgrown that location, and as you all know, if you've been down there, the blacktop it gets kind of hot, especially when you have more than about 2 or 3 trucks in that area. So staff is proposing to bring it more so in front of City Hall, so it'll be on Church Street in between City Hall and the Conference Center. Of course, we wanted to gain consensus from Mayor and Council because we will have to close streets down in order to have it in that area. So the proposed street closures would be Price Avenue between Church Street and Spring Street, as well as Church Street between Bowden Street and Price Avenue. The dates that will be affected will be Mondays, of course, from 4 to 9 p.m., July 3rd, July 17th, July 31st, August 28th, and September 18th. We've already checked with the conference center. The only thing happening at the conference center during that time is mayor and council meetings. So during mayor and council meetings, you may hear, if you all are in agreeance to move it, you may hear the DJ or the band that's out there doing Food Truck Monday, as well as people going by. But we wanted to ensure that we picked a location that we continue to grow. So currently we'll have 4 savory trucks and 2 sweet trucks, so it's usually 6 to 7 food trucks there. And so the space that we're currently in, it doesn't fulfill, it's not large enough to hold 6 trucks comfortably.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Jackson. That's some doing things differently. So that opens up for more food trucks, and is something that is very popular. It's becoming very popular in the community for the past few years that we've been doing the Food Truck Monday, so I think that would be wonderful. And do we have to take any action on that, or is it consensus? How do we do that, City Manager?
You all can authorize the chief to do it, but I think Councilwoman Miller had a question, Madam
Oh,
Mayor.
I apologize. I didn't see you, Councilmember Miller.
I just had a quick question. In reference to those streets that you mentioned, I was just looking at the map. So basically, it would be Church Street from Bowden to Price, just in that little area?
Yes, ma'am.
As long as no businesses have a problem with that, I think it's great.
Yes, ma'am, and we plan on we're going to work with our Main Street coordinator to ensure that we send out an email prior to this and to make sure that the businesses are okay and they know. But as you all know, most businesses in the downtown area are closed on Mondays.
And the businesses in that particular area is just the city, is it not?
Yes.
Okay. Assistant City Manager, I did have a question, and this may be for future Food Truck Mondays, but I know when we met with Councilman Estes, and it didn't come up this time, but there has been requests from in the tributary area to have food trucks, and I'm not certain. I know it can't be Monday because you can't clone the trucks, but maybe on Friday or Thursday, and I'm not sure if we want to readdress that. Did you hear that as well, Councilman Estes?
I appreciate the thought, but as of now, I think that is something that the tributary community should organize for itself.
Okay.
Instead of having the city handle
do
that.
it.
And they have done that a few times before.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so I think we're good, but thank you for the thought.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm glad it's taken care of then. I didn't want to let you know I didn't forget. So thank you so much. And I did, when you mentioned July 3rd, I had an update for other business report for Councilman Davis, for a question he asked me as well. But thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I
Thank you.
apologize, I'm out of order. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Councilman Davis, we did your request for the celebration for Juneteenth. We talked with the county, and I, gave the update of them having an event, a reception tonight from 6:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it, Madam Mayor. Also, I'd like to see the pictures that Happy Father's Day weekend last night had all the dads come out, about 60 fathers.
Yes, sir.
And we took a picture. I'd like to see that in one of the Impact magazines. The daddies came out. And last night we honored the fathers.
Yeah, for Father's Day. And I think
They didn't have
Miss-
to dance, but they just, you
Yeah,
know.
they left from the dancing part.
Yeah,
But
there's
Miss
anyone that
Allison-
had any outstanding, I put them in the back.
So Miss Allison Parker was out there with Mr. Post, so I'm sure she'll have those pictures. But the update for your consideration, Councilman Davis, was about the parade for Juneteenth and having the possibility. We did talk to staff, and that's something that we can look into the future, but council has to look as well. The only two parades that the city of Douglasville really sponsor are the 4th of July parade and Christmas. The Christmas parade. So the other parades that are given in the community, Labor Day, they use the city streets, but that's the Shriners, and Veterans Day is the county. So they use the city streets, but they're not sponsored by the city of Douglasville.
Yeah,
So,
I'm aware, and the organization, they had no problem in doing a parade, so it'll probably be one next year, They have no problem.
Yeah, so
It's
we just
sponsor
have to see
parade.
if staff can, if we have police officers that will work the parades, if we have, staff that will do, all the support that we do. Because now we support with public services and security. But just to have that, the parade is a huge intake, responsibility on the city staff. And, that's another one of those days off that we would have to pay overtime and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's the report that, I know you had talked to me, and the BHE group had a request about the parade. So the only two that we really have in the city that the city sponsors is 4th of July and Christmas. The other two are outside entities. City Manager, do you have anything else to say about that?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, comments from citizens and delegates. If you sustain the meeting, you'd like to speak to us, please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business that is germane to the city of Douglasville. Good evening. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
Ms. Mayor and the City Council. I just want to start by saying it's pretty chilly in here. I was not expecting that. But, I wouldn't have my ankles out of these short sleeves if I knew. But my name is Sita Dumbuya with Real Apartments. This is my colleague, Noel McPherson. And our other business partner and the founder of Real Apartments couldn't be here. But basically, we're a multifamily investment group, and we focus on affordable housing.
Mhm.
So we actually own Douglasville proper, which is just across the train tracks. It's a 100-unit, LIHTC, restricted to 50 and 60% AMI, all affordable housing. And we are committed to affordable housing. So historically, we've done market rate, built the portfolio up to over 1,000 units, and then we transitioned to affordable housing just last year.
Mhm.
And we're looking to expand on that and really help meet the need that a lot of Metro Atlanta and really the whole nation is seeing with affordable housing just being in deficit. And just hearing what Ms. Hampton was talking about, just know that there's really a need for affordable housing. And we want to be allies as you guys look to grow the affordable housing stock in Douglasville. So a lot of what we do is we look at LIHTC properties, but there are some limitations with that. So we're looking at how can we partner with local housing authorities to create affordable housing through acquiring market rate properties and then adding an affordable component to it. So we want to be able to introduce ourselves to you guys, let you know that we're here, we're looking to partner and see what programs or opportunities there are for us to be able to help in meeting that goal of creating more attainable housing. And we also like to offer Douglasville proper if there's anything that you guys would look for in terms of housing vouchers, project-based rental assistance. We'd like to make that known that, you know, we're looking to partner and be an ally.
Yes, sir.
If there's anybody that we need to speak to or anybody that would be the best contact for, you know, just what we're looking to do and see how we can make something happen, we'd like to know.
Yes, sir. Our Community Development Department, Ms. Shayla Reed, who's in the rear with this the stripe, black and white jacket and a red blouse, is a person, our Community Development Director, whom you need to speak with and see, you know, where you would fit in, if at all possible, in the city with our comprehensive plan and our housing stock. So she'll be the person to talk with, and then she'll give you the whole process. There's a sheet that you need to go through and, you know, see how all that works, go before the Planning Commission, myself and council members. But the start, just like a Monopoly board, where you get your start is right with Ms. Reed.
Gotcha.
You're welcome. Thank you for the invitation. We welcome you.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? Thank you. I don't see any. Do we have any other business to come before council this evening? If not, then this, open the floor for an adjournment. The motion can make it to adjourn. Okay, second. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned.